Hello and welcome to the Thursday show here on the Frontline Gaming Network. This is our tournament show. We run down the biggest and best and greatest and most amazing tournaments coming up over the weekend. My name is Paul Murphy, your host. I'm joined by Adam Camilleri.
Hello, everybody.
And Dustin Hinshaw.
Hello.
As you might have guessed, we do this every Thursday. We do this live. So if you're in the chat, say, hey, let us know what's up. Let us know if we ran into you at the LVO. Let us know if you had a great time. I think we should talk about the LVO. I know my plane was delayed. I couldn't be on the show. But some exciting things happened. I know we got to look forward. We also have 3 tournaments to cover this week, so we got to kind of move at a clip. But you got to give a shout out to some of those names we didn't know yet that did so well.
That's true. A lot of names that came up they won some tournaments before. There's just not any majors or GTs that were kind of well known, and they came in there and they killed it. It was great to see that too.
And an extra diverse field as well. I mean, I think it was safe to say that had we had that event without the balanced data slate, like without Custodes or GSC being added to the mix, it would have been like a non-event. It's like, how many Thick Cities and Crusher Stampedes are we going to see in the top 8? Probably like at least like 3 of each. It would have been just
Just like
RPG. RPG Luminary, great running into you at the event. Nice to meet you in person. That was awesome.
That was really nice. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Sorry, I didn't get to. Next time.
Yeah, up your game.
I know, I got to. Sorry. Up here in Canada, man.
Does listening to Adam commentate count as meeting him at the LVO? I feel like I know so well now.
It does.
It's an intimate experience. If you listen to the whole thing, like, you have a very good sense of me and Peter. Like, we can't not, like, and Paul as well. You can't not give yourself a fatigue speaking for that long.
Oh yeah, you know, it's when you're on like hour 7, it's genuine. Everything is genuine.
Yeah. You don't have the brain capacity to like any smoke mirrors.
There's no balance. There's only your soul. But that's awesome. Hey, Matthew Nergal, Wolf Priest, Carl, nice to see you in the chat. Let's actually just jump right into it with 3 events to hype. This is, we got to kind of move at a clip.
Yeah, well, so the last event doesn't have the lists open, so I just chucked that on the end. And also, it's a brand new season, guys. Yeah, I wasn't going to make it up. And it's a brand new season. Like, February is usually pretty quiet. So, and of course, we don't have any rankings to talk about because it's all been hit with the reset button. So I just went with lists that I like the look of, and I just pulled them out.
I kind of like that it's anybody's, it's
That's
now
right.
all there's nothing but opportunity, out there in front of folks right now for if they're competing for best factions. Oh, and let's talk about the big announcement from Games Workshop in their cooperation with the ITC about, not only do you get the bragging rights, which are absolutely cool, you're going to come away with some cool things, and there's going to be some involvement with big tournament organizers and stuff to make sure they have the rules to do some proper officiating.
Yeah, I remember at the awards ceremony, all the faction winners were standing, came off stage, and Zach from GW got them all together, and I think he got phone numbers and email addresses from all of them. So they're all getting something at the end of this and having some say. I think they're getting to be part of the rules writing for their respective factions, or at least getting some insights into them, which I think's an incredible initiative. Go to the experts to get the expert opinions. We do have 3 events. Various sizes, none of them cracked. Well, there's no RTT, GT, or major status anymore. It's just you are this many rounds, this many players.
All tournaments are majors in my heart.
That's right. They're all important. Come
on. Paul, tell us about the first one.
The first one here is the Legion Events Warhammer GT. That's in Lebanon, Tennessee. 6 rounds, 43 players. Let's run down the factions. Dustin, you want to give us a shot?
I will take that. We'll start with the Imperial Super Faction. 1 Titanicus.
Yeah,
2
wild.
Sisters. 4 Custodes.
0
Advent.
Warhound, right? It's a Warhound, right?
Yeah,
it is. It's a single Warhound Titan.
Somebody's bringing a Warhound Titan. As long as it's not on a Sky Shield landing pad, I guess it's not terrible. But 0 AdMech. Really, guys? You weren't impressed by the Siegler LVO win, eh? No AdMech.
Yeah,
they think it was a fluke.
It was a fluke. No, they can't do it. Nobody else
do
can do
not
it.
right.
3 Astra Militarum, 0 Grey Knights, 2 Imperial Knights. What is happening? This really is the reset button. It's okay, we got our best in faction or not, and then it's like, we'll move on now. I'm done with them.
Well, this is sorry. I'll say this at the end. You keep going, mate.
Okay, I'll keep going. Space Marine Super Faction, we have 2 Dark Angels, 1 Space Wolf, 1 Blood Angel, 1 Ultra, 1 Black Templar, 1 Raven Guard, and 1 Death Watch. That's what I like to see. Just a nice spread of everything in 43 man. That's perfect. Chaos Super Faction, 1 Chaos Soup, 1,000 Suns, 4 Death Guard, 1 Demons, and 2 Renegade Knights. Still Death Guard pulling up ahead of everybody. Xeno super factions, still no Necrons, 3 Orcs, 1 Tau, getting ready for the new decks. I'm assuming they wouldn't have allowed it yet because I think it'll just be
It'll be
that
coming
weekend.
out
So
that
yeah. So that's not too surprising. But Hive Mind super faction, 2 Hive Mind, 2 Tyranids, and 1 GSC. I'm okay with that. That's good. We got representation. And the Eldari super faction, there are 2 Drukhari and 1 Harlequin. So no Craft World at all and no mixed. So the faction podium is Custodes with Death Guard at 4, Orcs and Guard at 3, and just a lot of 2s.
So what I find very interesting about this, remember when we were doing the lead up to the LVO, we saw bigger and bigger numbers. People like in super factions, like a bunch of Harlequin players, I'm assuming just started playing Drukhari towards the end of the season to have a better run into the big LGT, the uprisings, the LVOs. And so you see people leaving their super faction and jumping on the best thing in that grouping, like e.g. people could be playing Emperor's Children all year and then jump on T-Suns or Death Guard at the end just to get that bit of a lift or get one more win at their respective end of year goodness. And so coming in, but as soon as we break away and we get into the new year, we see people just like kind of abandoned, either spreading out, like the Space Marine super faction is a great one. People just a great breakdown spread out of people just being like, I don't really know what to play, so I'm just going to mess around and see if I like this, see if I like that, play some stuff.
I think that's what's going on with the Craft World players. They're basically like, they know all this stuff is on the horizon. We've seen some great previews. We know we've seen some cool, interesting little snippets of the rules and that kind of stuff, a new avatar and all this other kind of thing. They're just kind of waiting to kind of exhale with this. They're going to play other things in the short term.
Or the other thing that happens as well, because you spot on, Paul, is people abandon things they no longer think is worth investing in. Grey Knights being the key point here. 0 Grey Knights for this kind of event shows a bit of a lack of confidence by the player base, or people who've been playing them. That's not a main faction for them. Picked them up with the new book, and they're kind of burnt out on it, so they're going to give it a rest for a bit.
Yeah, I can see that. Or do you think that they're actually, because it's the beginning of the season now, a lot of people might have looked at the competition for all these factions in the last season, but okay, maybe there's something I can actually compete with this time. Just this nice spread of Space Marines.
Take a swerve and play the other things, and then no one showed up with Grey Knights. You're like, oh man, now I'm competing for best salamander.
Everybody's gonna switch back, and it's just it's a vicious cycle. That's all it's gonna be now.
I pulled up 2 lists for your viewing pleasure. One of them being Mark Aish, who was the top-ranked demon player in the world, I think, at the ITC. He plays with the US Army esports team. He's a magnificent gentleman. And he has just a crazy Chaos Soup list. He's Disciples of Be'lakor. Although it's listed as Chaos Soup, but I think he's all demons. He has to be listed as Chaos Soup because Be'lakor is.
I think Be'lakor is going to put him into that section.
Disciples of Be'lakor, he's got a battalion. He has to have Be'lakor. He's got 2 change casters, 2 times 25 bloodletters, 30 horrors, 3 times 25 plague bearers, and 2 units of 5 Furies. This seems like something that we would have seen in the middle of 8th edition, not the middle of 9th edition. This thing's like 3 years out of whack, but Mark has like won the ITC for
all those
Chaos
bodies,
Demons.
Though. I mean, really, look at it. Yeah. That is what, 50? It's 50 bloodletters.
75 plague bearers. Yeah.
Yeah, and then 30 horrors. So that's, I mean, that's close to 200 models on the table or whatever.
Yeah, I've actually played with this list before and against it a couple times, like very similar, just like amount of bodies you can have on there and then a lot of respawning shenanigans with them and the non-targeting. It doesn't do as much damage as you might want to, aside for those bloodletters that just tear through things. But it's such a pain to get through, and they're all OBSEC, so like except for the Furies.
Are they running banners in there?
I would assume so.
For sure they would. Yeah. This is the demon version of Silvertide for Necrons. As far as I can tell, this is literally I can't kill you, so I'm going to drown you. And some people took the Silent King in that build. Mark Aish is taking Be'lakor in that build. So he's just going to drown him out, kill like bloodletter bomb into a couple of surgical things that are going to kill him too quickly, and then just kind of wait the game out, win on probably banners and strangleholds and things of that ilk. So
Scotty D's got a great comment in the chat and says this list must be built for the new missions.
Yep, I see that for sure. The amount of actions this army can do, and because they're all OBSEC, they just complete them immediately, so they don't have to wait for them to go to the next command phase. It's a big deal.
Can't found Knockman data if you got 25 models in you, can you?
Nope.
Knockman data is good as in the bank.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Next one I pulled out was one I just like the look of. It was actually because I saw there were 3 guard players in attendance. So I pulled out all the guard lists and I tried to get a sense of what they were bringing and why. And this one was kind of the one that stood out to me as a bit off the beaten track, and I wanted to highlight a little bit. This is Mr. Nick Smith. He's playing 2 battalions of gunnery experts and spotter details. So he's got 3 demolisher tank commanders, 10 guardsmen, 2 times 5 scions, 3 Lehman Russ regular Lehman Russ demolishers. So that's 6 in total. 2 company commanders, 6 times 10s guardsmen, and 2 payload mandicores. And I'm like, yikes, boy, that's gonna dunk. When it pops off, this list is gonna absolutely ruin days.
It has a lot of damage output, a lot of shooting. It's
6 demolisher tanks, 2 manticores. I'm just gonna sit here 30 inches away
6
and then just
2 up save.
that's true. How many turns do you have anti-tank options before they kill all your anti-tank options, and then these toughness 8 2+ save guys are just like, haha,
push up.
yeah.
Come in there,
Yeah.
play you out. You can't hide from them because they got the mana cores. They're
And they still got
gonna be
60
interesting.
guardsmen.
Yeah, still got 60 guardsmen. Yeah.
Scions, they can even retrieve the Knockman data. It can do everything it needs to do.
This seems good for the missions. Like, people are thinking the guard gets a lift out of the missions. But this one is good because you just know you can get those 3 kills a turn on the new secondary.
Yeah.
You know you got Rod in the bag. You know you can take engage or banners or any of the action secondaries really easily. I think this is okay. I'm not going to say go out on the board and say guards a new A tier codex or anything, but they definitely got a lift.
Yeah, for sure. They have all the tools they need to play these new missions well and not worry about. A lot of codexes worry about like a third secondary or even some of the matchups, but the guard are like, we'll do anything. We're fine. We're the heroes of the Imperium. Really, come on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it for that one. I only pulled out a list.
Well, I'll say with the guard, if you get if you can make yourself somehow insulated against the random rolls. Like the random damage and the random shots, and then hitting on the 4+. If you can just have just a little bit of average dice rolls with a list like this, I think you can do pretty well.
I agree. I mean,
sure.
if you needed to kick chaos in the teeth a little bit more, you take 6 demo tank commanders. He doesn't have banner for Lost Cadia though, because he's not playing Cadia. But I think this is okay. If I was running Mono Guard, it'd be something like this.
Yeah, nice. Our next tournament we're going to be talking about is going all the way across to Ivy Bridge in England, Cross Swords. This is, it's a 40K tournament, Cross Swords 40K, 30 players, 5 rounds. Looks like they're definitely gearing up for a scrap.
I like the name of this Cross Swords. I can go over the faction breakout here. So the Imperial Super Faction, we have 5 Custodes.
Mm-hmm.
2 Astromilitarum, 2 Grey Knights.
That's it.
They know what they want. They know what they want.
I looked at that. I'm like, yep, okay, yeah,
makes sense to me. And then we have the Space Marine Super Faction with 1 Space Wolf, 1 Blood Angel, 1 Raven Guard, 1 White Scar. Man, the Space Marines just spreading out. See, that's what I said.
One thing I thought was really interesting here: they're all the aggressive Space Marines. There's no Ultras, there's no Sallies, there's no Iron Hands. It's just true. Go Marines. Marines go. Yeah.
Marines go. Chaos Super Factions, 1 Chaos Soup, 1 Chaos Space Marine, 2 T-Suns, and a Demon. No Death Guard. Whoa, yeah, these guys are aggressive here. Where is this again? Ivy Bridge, England? Aggressive people in Ivy Bridge. Xeno Super Faction, just a single Necron. I bet it's all melee and it's running at your face too.
You know it is.
You know it is. Hive Mind Super Faction, 1 Tyranid, 1 GSC, and the Eldari Super Faction, 4 Drukhari and a Harlequin. This is an aggressive tournament. Wow. They are running at each other. It
is like the whole it's going to look like a rugby tournament. Like everything is pushed up in the middle.
Every mission is the scouring in this tournament. I can tell right now.
That's what's up.
Wow.
What's the
podium? We're looking at 5 Custodes, 4 Drukhari, and just a lot of 2s. So Custodes being top does not surprise me. They are so strong.
I'll be honest. I've always liked the way the Custodes look, and I've kind of flirted with having a Custodes army from time to time. It's kind of hard not to want to play them, especially if you travel a lot.
Yeah, especially if it's only $300 for a full army.
Yeah, exactly right. It's cost effective. It's
Yep.
travel friendly. Like in years gone by, they've been very forgiving on the tabletop as well. So yeah, it's a great army, and a lot of people collected them because they came in incredible box sets like Fury of Prospero. Sorry, Burning of Prospero, etc. I wanted to point out some things about the Custodes. So there's 5 Custodes players. There's more Custodes than Space Marines. All Space Marines. There's more Custodes
Yeah.
than all Chaos. Is the same amount. Sorry, there's more than all Tyrannies. It's wild to me that there's this many. I pulled out a little bit of stats on that, so I wanted to break down these 5 lists and get a sense of what they were taking. So of the five of them, there's 4 that are Emperor's Chosen and 1 is Shadowkeepers. Every single one of them is taking a battalion, which just shows the amazing new quality of life improvements that they gave, because you couldn't take a battalion before. You were spending like 800 points before you even filled an elite slot from your troops and HQs. 3 of them have Trajan. I thought that's actually a surprise. I would have expected 5 out of 5 to have Trajan.
2 of them do not own Trajan, guaranteed.
That's
Guaranteed.
good spot.
That's fair. That's fair. He's the best character possibly in the game, the best special character in the game. 4 of them have Praetor bikes. All have and all the people who have Praetor bikes have more than 1 squad. One of them even has a 5-man. So if you take a Praetors, apparently you've got to take more than 1 squad. Every single one of them has Alaris Terminators, which I thought it was actually quite surprising. Yeah.
Do they have them in groups or individuals? You know, like what are they planning?
I was pretty sure 1 to 2 of them have a group, and everyone else has singles. I love the single Alaris. I think they're amazing.
The singles are great.
4 out of 5 have Guard. 1 has Sagittarium. So one of them is skewed, having regular Custodian Guard to have Sagittarium instead. 3 of the 5 have Sister of Silence units. So I would have thought they're all taking battalions. All of them will have like 1 unit of Prosecutor, but only 3 do. And 4 of them have the Praetorian Plate Captain. 3 of them have the Bike Captain. So there is some overlap there where some people have both, because one of the gentlemen wasn't taking Trajan, took the Bike Captain and the Praetorian Plate Captain. But yeah, the Praetorian Plate Captain is more, I suppose he's the new hotness. He's the sexy, crazy, this is going to be wild and flip games, and so people just want to play him. But I think the Bike Captain is way better.
Bike Captain is way better. And to be honest, I don't think the Praetorian Plate Captain is worth it. Like, he's cool. He's a really cool gimmick. I don't find him as game changing as people think he is. Like, he can be, but you really have to use him at the exact moment, at the exact time. And if they know you have it, they can play around it.
He has to be Lock Warden. He has to be he has to be a character hunter. If you try and take him thinking he's gonna knock down squads, the guy's not gonna even kill 5 intercessors off the flip. But the psychological effect it plays is what you need to leverage.
Mm-hmm.
If you can freak people out thinking he's about to jump in, is he gonna jump in? When's he gonna jump in? Like, that can be where he gets your points.
Yeah, I can see that. Maybe he's kind of like the old school Vect of, even if you don't use it, the threat of having it makes them think a lot more.
The psychological weight, like make it way down their decision making.
At least I talked about that too. Like, anytime there's a potential for heroic intervention, you know, if you have to pay for it or whatever, people have to factor that into their decisions, and every decision point along the way could be a peril for them.
Yeah, it was good. The other gentleman's list I pulled out was Gareth Purcell. He's playing Grey Knights, because I just wanted to get a sense of what Grey Knights post changes looks like. Sure. And actually, I couldn't do it the previous one because there were none. So this is what I thought. This is what I thought we'd be seeing, though. So President Brethren Battalion, because this, especially in Europe, the Scandinavians are crazy for this. They were taking a single battalion even before they had to. He's got a Libby, he's got a Techie, he's got a single Grandmaster Dread Knight, 3 units of 5 strikes, an Apothecary. Here's the spice: 5 Paladins, a Venerable Dreadnought, 3 Dread Knights, and 2 Rhinos. So the 2 Rhinos and the strikes, I guess, is the new take, because of course you've got about 200 odd points spare now, because you can't take the second Nemesis Dread Knight Grandmaster, and so you just fill out a battalion now instead. The 5 Paladins, I mean, they went down in points, boys, but are they a thing now?
5 Paladins.
I mean, if Alaris Terminators are, maybe they are too. I mean, that's that maybe it's operating on that same premise. It's like they're a harder unit to shift. You kind of pay more for them. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, it is.
They have some tech. They have some really cool tech with them. Strats, you can actually pull out whatever power you actually need for them. They have some really good defensive strats. They're just so expensive.
Yeah, exactly right.
But maybe if you trade it, like, how many interceptors do you get for 5 Paladins?
That's a fair point.
I want to say 10.
Well, because I was about to point out, this is a list that has 0 of them in it.
Yeah.
And maybe that is maybe those exist because of the makeup, the fabric of the event itself. Because as we've already surmised, everything is pushing forward. And you're gonna want as much just durable beef, to put right there in the center of the table and say, just come at me. That's and maybe paladins do that better than interceptors.
Yeah, I can see that.
In addition, remember what I said before about people having a palate cleanse? This could be a palate cleanse from this guy feeling like he had to play 30 freaking interceptors in every damn list for an entire year, and just being like, enough. I'll take the Dread Knights for this one, paladins and paladins, interceptors stay on the shelf. Cool, let's do something different for once, which I can respect a lot.
I can respect that for sure. And maybe they just want to be the person that actually sets the new trend. This is the new meta. Everybody, 5 paladins. This is the way.
Oh my goodness! Let me tell you, I will say that. Sometimes when somebody wins with something, that becomes something that people try to emulate, which is absolutely cool. I think that there's nothing wrong with looking at someone else's list and wanting to emulate it or use it or find pieces of it that you like. I actually, it's a time saver in some situations. Sometimes it's just, you maybe didn't catch that efficiency on your read through the codex, but you found something that's cool, or you just like it. And that's cool. But I'm not sure that every list that wins has to be the new archetype,
Yeah. That's a very good way of saying it.
I like it. Good take.
We're smashing through this. We got one more event, boys.
And this is the one we get to make up, right? But before we do that, let's run an ad from our sponsor. This is that awesome Frontline Gaming ad. You got to check it out. So gracious to have us on your channel. We'll be right back.
At Frontline Gaming, we make the best tabletop gaming mats in the universe. Our mats are durable, rollable, foldable, wipeable, and storable. Oh, and they look damn great too. Join the thousands of tournament regulars and garage gamers who use our mats to bring their gaming surfaces to life. To ensure quality, Frontline Gaming mats are custom made one at a time, printed with high quality ink. Our immersive designs stay crisp and are available in a wide range of styles and sizes. So whether you're playing a war game or a skirmish game, whether you're fighting over an alien tundra, fantastical forest, or real-world setting, there's a great-looking battlefield for you. Our gaming mats are printed on extremely durable neoprene backing, so they won't slide around the table. And they're thick enough to stay flat, protecting what's underneath and allowing for slight uneven surfaces. We know from experience that an easily portable gaming surface is just better. Every mat comes with a sturdy nylon zip-up bag for storage and transportation. Whether your next battle is in your home or at the local game store, you'll be able to unroll your FLG mat and get gaming right away. Our products are all made and tested by passionate gamers at Frontline Gaming HQ right here in the USA. It's time to take your battlefield to a new level. Frontline Gaming, champions of tabletop.
And we are back. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave us some 5-star reviews wherever you hear this. If you're listening live, keep those comments coming. We really appreciate it. Thanks for all the interaction in the chat. If you're listening to us after the fact on one of the aggregators, clicking the subscribe, clicking the like, giving us a thumbs up, giving us a 5-star review is one of the easiest, no hassle ways that you can help other people discover. So if you haven't done that yet, please do so. I understand that Spotify is just open up reviews, so you can click some 5 stars in there for us, and we would really appreciate it.
We love you guys.
Nice.
Next one we have coming up is we're going back across the Atlantic, coming back to the United States. At least I was going to say Rhode Island, the Providence of Rhode Island. CaptainCon from Warwick, Rhode Island, here in the U.S. 47 players, 5 rounders. Dustin, will you please run down the faction stats?
I would love to. 2 sisters, 8 custodes, and 47 people. 8 custodes.
That's 20% custodes.
Yeah, 20% custodes. 1 Astra Militarum, a hero.
Look, it's a small state. They like small armies.
It's called Warwick. That is an absolutely amazing name. These people live in such cool cities. I can't.
Yeah.
I live in Cambridge. It doesn't sound exciting at all. I don't live in Warwick. Anyway, 3 Grey Knights and 1 Imperial Knight. So it's I was gonna say a nice spread, but then I looked at the 8 custodes again.
Yes,
that's not a nice spread. That's pretty chonky on the Golden Boys.
I'd actually like to know, and we might get to it later, what the split is between the shield host. It's like we've seen people bouncing between the two, and it seems
That's
to be
true.
up down to personal play style about which is truly the best one.
I am on it. I will have that for you by the time we
you're
get
on
to
it.
the end.
I thought you were going to actually have an opinion. Okay, well, we'll talk about that when we get through this then, because I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on what you think is the best one too. So the Space Marine Super Faction is 1 Space Wolf, 3 Blood Angels. There you go, Paul. 1 Salamander, 1 White Scar, 1 Black Templar, and 1
know
Red
what's up.
Scorpions. Wow.
Yeah, usually they're not Red Scorpions. They're like Iron Hands, but I couldn't see at the list in order to slap him down. And yeah,
So
Not
you're giving him the
technically.
benefit of the doubt, is what you're saying.
I just went to go check lists, and the whole reason I don't know is because I couldn't check lists. So
Right.
sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. All right, the Chaos Super Faction is 1 Chaos Soup, 2 Death Guard, 1 Demon. No real surprises there. No T-Suns. It's a little sad. I feel like
Yeah.
T-Suns aren't getting the love they should be getting, but I get it. They're complicated army, and they are not easy to just paint up because they have a lot of bits to them. Xeno Super Faction, 1 Necron, 2 Orcs. Still no Tau yet. They're
Yep.
coming though. And the Hive Mind Super Faction, 1 Hive Mind, 3 Tyranids, and 1 GSC. We're starting to see some GSC. I like seeing that.
Yeah, I was seeing some, but where's the rest of them? Like, where's the rest? I was told there was like legions of these GSC
We're
players
still lying in wait.
lying in
We
wait.
are. We
How much
are.
longer
We're
are they going to
waiting.
wait?
You know what?
Look, man,
5
a
of them
lot
are
of
custode
models.
players.
It does take a lot of models actually, and a
It's
lot
so-
of different models to previously. I mean, how many? I mean, you're probably a poor example, Dustin, but how many Adelan Jackals did you have prior to this codex?
Oh, he's
Me,
the one that's
no.
got like
I
47.
have
I was going to borrow a
45.
few. Yeah.
I have
You had that
45.
before this codex.
I bought
Hence-
them at the LVO that the GSC were like basically launched at. I bought them all then.
just proves my point. You're a poor example of this
I am
question.
a terrible example. the answer beforehand was probably not many.
Yeah,
I think
fair.
Frankie and I are the only ones that have 45.
They look so cool. They
They are
look
such
cool.
cool models.
And look, you get to use them, and we saw them used a good. I mean, well, at least things from the GSC used a good effect, especially coming out, with like a balanced list. Like it's actually kind of interesting the fact that the largest tournament in the land with some of the best players in the world won by relatively balanced list.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's granted, you can't take it. You can't factor out the skill of the pilot, but very interesting.
Oh,
I know
it's true.
we don't have lists to talk about during this. So we have to talk about other lists, and
Yeah.
we also talk about kind of. I'm willing to bet, like, okay, odds on. What do you think? Is it more because it's not anything other than these two? Is it more Shadow Keepers or is it Emperor's Chosen on those Custodes list?
Before you tell us what it actually is, I'm gonna guess that it's more Emperor's Chosen.
I have no idea, guys. The lists aren't.
Yeah,
live.
we have to guess. We have to
Oh,
theorize. So let's look
I
at
thought
the
you were gonna
field.
find out. Oh.
Let's say that all these players know each other. Let's
Uh.
look at the field of what we see out there, and then decide what is the best shield host to go into that.
If I was
Okay.
metaing against other Custodes players, I would be taking Shadow Keepers.
100%.
That's the
100%.
anti Custodes is the Shadow Keepers.
Yeah.
If I was metaing into say Thick City, I think you can make a case for Solar Watch, but I think Emperor's Chosen is better.
Solar Watch. Whoa, you're just throwing a wrench in the whole thing here.
Or you can make a case
He's just
for it.
making stuff up.
Did you see the Icelandic WTC captain with his 30 shield guard just like bodying people, just like rocking up? Oh, you see all these middle objectives? Forget about them. You ain't getting them. Don't worry about it. Go somewhere else, mate. See that backboard? Just right there.
Maybe that's. I mean, maybe you're onto something though. With the fact that as things come out, things are like you can look at a codex and you can pick the stuff and it looks super powerful. And I think we'll see some of that with Tau. And then it matures as people start to react and adapt to it. You figure out what it is, and maybe that's it. Maybe Solar Watch is the next version, the next iteration of the next list.
If we go back to needing speed, like if we go back to like, when it was Dracari-esque kind of MSU, everyone needed to be fast. If you weren't fast, you couldn't play. Then Solar Watch will get a lot better, like because then you can literally start getting through that middle table, start chasing down these quick transports and stuff. So maybe we're just waiting for Craft Wheels to come out, and everyone needs to be fast again if that's one of their builds. And then maybe Solar Watch looks a lot better. Like you just need that closing speed. But unfortunately, that's kind of all they give you. They don't give you any more than that. Like Shadow Keepers gives you a defensive strat, and you're better in combat by default because you're nerfing theirs, and you're amazing at killing characters because you can ignore invulns and stuff. So yeah, I feel like Solar Watch only gives you one thing.
Yeah, I can see that. See, for me, I feel like it's you're building your Custodes list, and that's going to determine what shield hosts are going to go. Like if you're bringing in a lot of dreads and the Caladius tanks and stuff, you're going Emperor's Chosen.
Yeah.
If you're going like a lot of min squads, Emperor's Chosen is good that way too. Shadow Keepers is good if you are heavy into melee.
If you want to bully, like
if you want to bully, if you want to bully, Shadow Keepers is the way. So I think it actually, I don't think people are, especially now because it's the new season, people don't really know exactly what the meta is going to be like per se, unless you you already know what your local scene is like. Well, so I feel like you're just going to build it based on what you're bringing and what's better for your list, and then how it benefits from it, right?
Take solid bricks that'll get you through a couple of rounds.
Yeah, exactly. I think so.
Where are we up to with the rundown?
I'm at the Eldari Superfaction now, so we were almost done. We forgot about Drakari and Suriani for a little bit.
I'm sorry. I took us on a sidetrack.
I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry. That's the perfect time to do it. If you're going to do it at any time, it was perfect to do it right after Hivemind. I'm okay with that. So the Eldari Superfaction is just 2 Drakari and 1 Suriani. See? We didn't miss much.
Done.
So the faction podium is obviously Custodes at the top with 8, and then Blood Angels, Tyranids, and Grey Knights all tied at 3, and then again, a bunch of 2s.
That's a big gap.
It's a huge gap. Freaking gap, boys.
With the Custodes.
Huge. 5 more lists than anybody else. Like you add all the Xenos and all the Hivemind together, and you have as many Custodes. Like
so in that 5-rounder, you're playing Custodes twice at least.
Twice.
There is some reality where they all take each other out in round.
Yeah. That would be great. I think everybody should just be put up against each other if they're Custodes. Round 1, just to make sure at least you cut them in half right off the bat.
Was there an edition where we did that? You're like, all Imperial Guard players have to play each other, first round or something.
That would be wild. That'd be so wild. I'd play like all assassins because there'd be no one else who brings assassin. I get a buy. 1 win for the assassins. 1.
An all Imperial agent army is getting more and more possible.
Yeah. If there's nobody else playing the same thing, you get a buy. So all the Titanicus, there's one Titanicus guy, he puts his War Dog on the next table.
That's his one path to victory is bye.
Yep.
Also,
buys all the time.
You want to talk about something that's sneaky good against Custodes?
Yes, I do.
Warhound Titan going first, like on like a bowling ball, you could get some work done. Like you could really get some work done.
I mean, still transhuman.
Yeah, you got to like one gun.
You have to spread it everywhere. Yeah.
As many as just spread it as sprinkles, just like barn door that whole thing. And you got enough wounds. They're not going to kill you in one go in combat because only damage 2. But like if they just bought like 2 or 3 units of Praetor bikes, oof.
Are you trying to sell us on a Warhound Titan?
Yeah, don't talk yourself out of it. I thought you were onto something.
Come on, let's see some more. I want to see some more on the table. There's one hero bringing it this weekend. I want to see him at least go 3-2. Come on.
So we know the Castellan could be a thing again because of this meta. Like what else could because literally the Custodians are number 1 at all three events we did this week. They're 5-5-8 or whatever it is. What are we going to see? What is this going to cause people to do?
Tech for Custodes.
What is that?
It depends on your army. Right?
We've seen Meltagons, and Eliminators and that kind of stuff creep their way back in. We know. Let's just say Eldari are on the cusp, and Fire Dragons are a thing. Relatively inexpensive Meltagons. It may need something like that, or maybe Drakari have to opt more towards their Cabal side to do some shooting to
more
equalize things.
Maybe the Ravager gets another look in. Mind you, that what was it? Is it the Reaper? Their Forge World.
The Forge World. Yep, the Dark Elder.
Dark Techno Reaper. It went down in points, and it is still legit.
Yeah, it's the random shots. It's a little. I don't like the random shots with them, but they're still really good. You're right, and I think.
Roll 6s, Dustin.
Sorry, yes, you're right.
With the sub-faction restrictions, I could see people not wanting to take Dark Techno anymore. Compared to having the reliability of Artists of Flesh, Dark Techno probably doesn't make the cut.
Yeah, it makes the list completely different, right? So the thing is, with the fighting Custodes, you need to be able to threaten more than one squad at the same time in the same phase.
this is why Marine shooting kind of sucks, and why Marines need to change a bit, because all Marine shooting relies on rerolls, which you don't get, and they're great at like, this is my unit of Eradicators is going to smash the absolute crap out of that unit. And
Eradicators is what I was trying to say earlier.
Oh, really?
Not eliminators.
So I think the Chappie makes it back in now. Like people who may have dropped the Chappie, but the Chappie is taking +1 to hit now on its litanies.
Yeah.
Because you can't take the Chapter Master anymore. I think the Chapter Master comes out. Chappie
Really?
goes in. Well,
You think
yeah.
Chapter Master just comes out just because of Custodes?
No. You may not take Chapter Master upgrade. You probably still take a Captain, but you may not upgrade all the way to Chapter Master. You might drop that off instead to take a babysit chaplain that's going to give you +1 to hit, +1 to wound for its litanies, and that might be better because you can't trust any rerolls anymore. Just for the sake of it, I was playing John Lennon when he was testing for Art of War, and I was playing the best Iron Hands list we could theoretically come up with, into them. Yeah, so we didn't have the drop pod because the drop pod would just get tagged and pinned off by all the units, because then the Praetor bikes just have somewhere to hide and stuff. And I had a full unit of Eradicators with every buff shoot into that Dawn Eagle Shield Captain. I did 0 damage, 0, just 0.
See, that's not okay.
That's not very much damage.
That's not very much. Like according to my calculation, that's not good. That's not good for you.
Yes. So that was 2 multi-melters, all heavy melter rifles. That was with Chapter Master and a Lieutenant standing by. Full rerolls to hit, which I didn't get. So it was hitting on 4s, because I moved, of course. Hit on 4s, wounding on 4s for transhuman, 4 up invuln, 5 up feel no pain, 0 damage. You're just like, wow, that was like a fifth of my army, plus like another fifth of my army in support units. So like a third of my army just tried to kill that guy, and he didn't give any craps, like just nothing to give me.
Wow.
That was just like, wow, I can't put points in rerolls anymore.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because the 4-up invuln, everybody's like, oh, Custodes live and die by the 4-up invuln, but the 4-up invuln is like the backup to everything else that they get before that. The turning off rerolls, the transhuman, -1 strength if you're Shadow Keepers. Like, there's so much else that they get before you even get to the point of having to make a 4-up invuln. That's why they're so good at that.
And this is kind of my big fear for the meta. If Custodes, so we got Tau coming into this meta. We got Craft Wheels coming into this meta. Apparently Tau is quite good into Custodes, so that could be a thing. But if Custodes remain like 20% of every event, Marines are going to really struggle. All power armor. No, there's no power armor army that I can think that is good into Custodes. Like Blood Angels is actually the best one I can think of, because they don't rely on pluses on any rerolls. They can just go in with, and just only transhuman nerfs them at all. But like, there's no real Space Marines that can contend. Sisters can't contend. And you want to talk about the worst one? Grey Knights can't even scratch the auric paint off some of that stuff. Like, I've shot 3 Dread Knights into a unit of Shield Guard and killed 1. And I've been like, well, this army's on the shelf, because that's just rough. Mind you, if they are not Emperor's Chosen, you can smite them down really effectively.
That's true. That's one of the reasons that a lot of people might actually go stay with the Emperor's Chosen, because people are going to be like, all right, mortal wounds, this is the way to go. And then if you start on a 4-up mortal wound save, like, okay, maybe it's not the way to go. I feel like it was an option if Emperor's Chosen didn't exist.
Yeah, well, and to speak to that little metagame, I think that with the points reductions on Death Company, maybe we're seeing 2 Death Company squads with Thunderhammers, because they might not get the job done because you're going to be wounding on 4s, but you can give them 2, like it's just someone just said in chat, you give them 2 +1s to hit, so they go in properly hitting on 2s, and then transhuman or 2s again, son, and then like you gotta take something that Custodes has to respect, and like that's something they have to respect.
Thunderhammers and Forlorn Fury.
Exactly.
Lots
and
of attacks.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking maybe there's something there for White Scars, but I think White Scars might be too slow to get to the damage.
Death Company?
Sorry?
I said White Scars don't get Death Company.
Yeah, but they can have damage for Thunderhammers, right? And you can just be like, hello, Alaris. You see Alaris? Like, that could be a thing also one day. But there's a bunch of other armies like Thick City. I mean, I talked to Anthony Vanilla. He thinks Thick City is just fine into Custodes. But I'll say out of, I think, the 4 Custodi Drakari matchups we had in the top 8, he was the only one who won one. Every other time the Custodies got knocked out. And maybe it was the Shadow Round and the finals. But every time Custodies went into Drakari, Custodies won with the exception of one game. So that's a thing as well.
There we go. Well, let's
That's
look.
true.
We're about to jump into a segment that we do each and every episode. We call it the Fuego Rapido, where we run down a list of topics. We give ourselves 2 minutes to talk about those topics, and when the clock is stopped, we stop talking about it.
It's a good time.
Yeah. As soon as
We love
that clock starts, we will jump right into it. What was the biggest LVO surprise, Adam? What do you think?
The lack of the amount of unknown names in the shadow round in the top 8. Usually at these events, we'll get to the top 8, and it'll be like 5 of the 8 will be like, yeah, you were pretty much always going to make it. There'll be like 2 guys who like they're on a good army, they had a good run, and then there's one guy who's just like happy to be there. This year, I feel like we had 3 people who I'd never really noticed before be like absolute guns in the top 8, and then a couple of others who are just like, yeah, I guess. Yeah, it was good.
I said just names you don't know yet. Biggest surprise for
Exactly.
me is just how active the Age of Sigmar side was. That place was on fire with lots of good,
Really?
very good, enthusiastic Sigmar
Mm.
players. That scene is growing. No longer just in the game stores or smaller tournaments.
Yeah, I can see that too. Mine was Lennon getting knocked out round 1.
Ooh,
Now I will
that was
say,
huge.
like who he lost to, the guy's also an amazing player too.
Oh,
So
he's
it
a
wasn't,
gun.
it wasn't like Lennon lost to somebody that we never seen before or anything. Like, it was a game that it was hard fought for him, but just the fact that it happened round 1 was just whoa, took everybody
That's
by surprise. I think.
you
Yep.
know, even in these tournaments where there's 1,000 people or whatever, you can still run into some upsets
Yep.
in any step of the way. Sometimes it's luck of the draw, sometimes it's luck of the dice, sometimes it's just a mismatch in armies.
Mhm.
Sometimes it could be anything. It really is anybody's tournament, and that was proven with a couple of upsets and early ejections from the overall contention.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what makes it exciting too. Like when you see that first stuff, it's like, all right, this could be a good LVO. I love seeing stuff like this. Just things that take you by surprise, so you don't know what to expect. Like when that happens, you can't be all right. Well, it's not Siegler and Lennon for the win. Like, I mean, now what's going to happen?
Yeah, very true. Let's jump to the next one. When is it time to shift off a faction, or when is it time to power through and
Oh,
stay the course? I think
oh.
this is a decision point that we've all come to as players.
Mm.
Dustin, we can start with you this time.
For me, I am. I focus on a faction, but if I had to decide, if we're talking about when you would go off of one,
It's fine. For the answer, it could be never.
I will say never, because I think it's important to stay with the faction through the thick and thin, because you become faction experts. You will still be able to use it well, even when people say it's not good anymore and it's been nerfed in oblivion. Maybe you'll win LVO with it. Just saying. But
Yep.
if you have that need, it'll only happen when you stop having fun with it. That's what I would stick with.
That's a really good answer. I don't know if I can beat or contend with that answer. Is that if you're having fun playing the game, that is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
There's sometimes I catch myself like I really just want to paint a unit.
Mm.
And I find myself I'm just going to paint a random unit. It's probably going to be a Blood Angel unit.
Yeah.
So I'll stay the course on that faction, but then sometimes you got to figure out what your motivation is at the time. I think it's okay if your motivation changes. I think that's the biggest thing. It really is fine if you want to switch armies. Like no one should like guilt or shame you, or not that that's really a thing or whatever. I don't think, but you shouldn't feel compelled to stick with a faction if you're not enjoying it. If you enjoy, let's say you're playing a faction that doesn't move very fast and you want to be sleek and move faster, you want to use certain knives, or you think a way a miniature looks is cool or whatever, all good enough reasons to shift it off a faction.
Adam?
Yeah, I think when you stop enjoying it, when you've fallen out of love, when you can't think of any new models you want to add to a collection, and you can't honestly think that your next game will be, your next event or pickup game will be with it. Like you can't see a time when you're going to play it next. It's time to move on.
There we go. Do you like the new missions in the secondaries, Adam?
I do, with an asterisk.
What's the
I
asterisk?
love that. I believe a lot more games will be closer, and there'll be a lot more gradients between scores. It won't just be always a derivative of 5 or 10 between everybody, which is kind of how it seems. And it kind of seems like if I should ask my mate Diffie, but I want to know what the median score lines have been for like this last year. Like what the average is, because I feel like everyone usually loses by like 20 to 25, 30 points. And I want to see closer games. I feel like we're going to get that with this packet. What I don't like is how much extra bookkeeping there is. in every mission.
With the 4, 8, and 12, and then the extra
Yeah.
2, and then
And the extra 2 and the 3 and the 1 in
Yep.
here, and then there's a lot more incidental scoring in every mission. In addition, there's a lot more interesting interactions, like a lot more times where you can get a bonus point in, say, no prisoners, or Knockman scores weirdly, or behind enemy lines gets a 2, then a 4, then a 4, then a 2. So there's a lot more of that. I feel like it's just going to get a little bit harder for everybody to score. That's my only worry.
Dustin, what about you? I mean, I think you're a very objective focused player most of the time.
I am an objective focused player for sure. So I love the new missions. I'm on the same boat as Adam in the sense that I love what they've done with it. I love the fact that every mission feels different, and it's something it's kind of forcing you to play to the mission every mission. So you have to be ready to do that. I love that. So to me, that makes the game a lot more interesting and intricate. For every game will be different that way. It'll force you to play those kind of lists. But it's still the same thing with that, and that the bookkeeping on it is going to be a little crazy. There's a lot of different bookkeeping. So that's the price of being so intricate that it's a lot harder to keep track of. Go ahead, Paul.
I think players, you'll get more used to it. It'll become second nature. It's a little clunky right now, but keeping score in the very beginning was also clunky.
Yeah.
Clunky is probably a harsh word, but it'll be something you'll become more routine in your nature, I think. And you'll be on the lookout for.
Scary.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Book of Boba Fett. What's the verdict? I'm starting with this one.
You got it.
Bro, do it.
So here's my hot take: is that the best Star Wars movies are the ones that had just a little Boba Fett in them, which is the same for the Book of Boba Fett episodes as well.
Oh, wow. There you go.
No spoilers. I don't want to give any spoilers. So I'm not sure what I think about the whole series yet, but I do enjoy where it went. I feel like they kind of I'm not a Boba Fett fan, by the way. Like I'm a Han and Luke guy, So yeah, I've always thought Boba Fett, got his just desserts by getting taken out by blind Han Solo and digesting forever at the bottom of the Sarlacc pit. Like I was fine with that ending.
Did Han shoot first, Paul?
Han shot first.
Oh,
if you go back actually to the book, if you go to the book, the actual original book, not only did he shoot first, he's the only one that shot. There was just.
We should do a fuego. We should do a fuego on that one, because I'm incredulous of all these people that want Han to have been a good guy all along. No, he was a bastard, and that's the point. He had a legitimate, awesome story arc because he started at absolute bastard level.
Development.
And got awesome. Yeah. Why do you want to be a nice guy at the start, like this kind of chivalrous thief? No, he was a smuggler. He was a bastard.
It's the only thing when he leaves and takes his loot in the Falcon and leaves.
That's so good.
You're thinking like, well, that really sucks, but he is,
that makes sense.
That's what he is. He's a smuggler. He's a scoundrel. A scruffy looking nerf herder or whatever. And then when he rolls back in, who doesn't feel that well? And then if anyway, shot first, sure. But Book of Boba Fett, I dig the show. I like that they were kind of gutsy with what they've done with it, and maybe it's going to lead to other things. I've just eaten all the time, so that's it. You got to tune in next week, and we'll do a whole Star Wars, maybe a whole Star Wars fuego. Will Tau rattle some cages? Will they come onto the scene and change what we see? Adam, what's your opinion?
I think they are going to shake things up. I'm not sure they're going to be as crazy as they could be, because I've got a feeling they're going to be a flash in the pan that we all need to pay attention to, because the things I'm hearing out of Craft World lead me to believe that everything is going to be kind of irrelevant as soon as they hit.
That's fair.
That's bold.
I'm down with that, though. I'm down with it.
And by make a mark, I mean they are definitely going to make a mark. We have to account for them. We're going to have to know they're there. But then whatever they've done to Meta is just going to get superseded, because they're just going to be like, bam, it's Craftwell time, baby.
What the Tau do, that kind of set them apart, is that they have these indirect fire. They've got these strategies that kind of build on each other, synergies with each other. They've got the Kroot. That might turn into Codex Kroot. For all we know, but they've got a lot of high strength weapons that can put down some of these threats. They have enough cannons to kind of put one main cannon on every Alaris that's out there, every Terminator or whatever. Every 5-man unit, they could burn them down in short order potentially.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to come out of different. I think we're going to see way more crisis suits. I think we're going to see way more Pathfinders and that kind of stuff.
RPG Luminaries quoting Hulk Hogan in the chat. It's great.
Oh,
Nice.
I love that. RPG Luminary, you just gained so many respect points from me. Attaboy. That was awesome. Love Hulk Hogan.
So Tal, yeah, I guess I can't believe the Tal are not getting this respect. It's like, I think there's going to be some.
No, they're going to respect. Like they're going to make a mark.
Mm.
They're going to have actually lots of marks that are lights.
Yeah.
But it'll be a flash.
Jeez. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think they're going to be superseded. But yeah, I think they're going to be legit. It's a good book.
That's our show this week. Look, if you want to see an all Star Wars related Fuego Rapido next week, make sure you throw something in the comments, and we'll try to make them as interesting and as exciting as, and not maybe, I don't know. We'll see. That's a challenge.
Controversial for sure.
Controversial. That's the best way of putting it. Yeah, let's do it. And it's been a good show. Look, I know that the tournament season is kind of in a bit of a lull, but we're going to continue to do this every week. Each and every week, we're going to bring you tournaments to talk about. We are kind of a tournament hype show. We want to bring awareness to things going on in local areas, all over the world. And so if you're hosting a tournament or you are a tournament organizer, hit us up on social media. Let us know what you're doing, where you're doing it, and we might be able to feature it on the show. Adam, what you got?
I was going to say echo the same thing. Because we don't have many super majors in this early part of the season, this is the perfect time to get those little homegrown, awesome narrative events or whatever you've got. You got an event you've run in Albuquerque for 20 years, South Africa, Japan, Vietnam, South America. If you've got a little event, chuck it on up. You might get on this. Might get on next week.
I have one rule though. One rule. You got to list your factions. If your players don't list the factions, then it makes our life harder. And look, we might make it up, depending on a slow week. But you got a much higher likelihood of getting on the show if your players list the factions.
Well, that's right. If there's a little town in Brazil sends up for a little town in Tokyo, little town Japan sends us for one, and one of them has their list uploaded and listed, and the other one doesn't. Well, that's it.
Done.
Well, gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you all this week about Warhammer in general and the tournaments, and our kind of favorite segment here at the Fuego Rapido. And in the chat, y'all have been absolutely on fire tonight, and I really appreciate that. Needed that to keep us going this week. It means a whole lot for y'all to show up each and every week and support us with some comments and chats. I've had a great time.
I love it. I look forward to this every week. Don't you, Adam?
Absolutely.
That's our show this week. We will see y'all next week. Don't forget to register for the Cherokee Open. That is going to be a barnstormer. Going to be lots of folks there, lots of great players there. 26th, 27th of February into the month. I think
make a good list. You're going to show up on this show because Adam's going to want to.
Yeah,
we're definitely going to talk about it.
Yeah.
We will see y'all next week.
See ya.